Hi, in this video, we're going to show you how to make a component that can act as your navigation for Power Apps. So stay tuned. Hi, my name is Brian Knight from Pragmatic Works. Today we're going to focus on how to build a component that will act as your navigation inside of Power Apps. So first of all, what is a component? Well, a component is a reusable piece of code inside of Power Apps that you can use and leverage over and over and over again inside the application. You can also, though, use it over and over again across multiple applications. If you're a .NET developer, this will feel a lot like object-oriented programming. It's not perfect OOP, but it gets a little bit close to OOP principles of reusability and inheritance. So let's see how to do this now. What I have open right now is a basic application. It has nothing inside. It has 3 screens. And first thing you'll notice is up top here, I have components lit up already. Now, if you do not see this right now, it's likely because you have not turned on the feature for the application. So to turn on the feature, just go to File and App Settings. And under Advanced Settings, you'll see right here at the very, very bottom that it is an experimental feature called Components. Flip that switch, and then you're going to see the Insert Components. And you'll also see components in the view on the left side now also. So once we've done that, we're going to go over to the Components tree. So what I'll do is I'll go to Components and hit New Component. Now you'll also notice when I did that there was the ability to insert components also or import them in from another application. So when I export this component out, it basically exports a file that I can then import into other applications. So after I get this code working the way I want, I can have a very standardized menu across all of my applications. Again, it's not full inheritance like you see in .NET applications, but it gets us a little bit closer to what we had previously inside of Power Apps. So our first step now that we've done that is to size our component. So let's give it a better name here. I'll call this just ComNav. All right, and under properties here of the component, I'm going to go with maybe 200 pixels wide. And how about 1366? Oops, 1366. 1366 high. And we can change a fill color and do those kind of things also. I have a few more things I'm going to do, but let's first create 2 properties. And what these properties are going to do, one is going to be an input property of values that I want to put on this navigation menu. The other one's going to be an output property that says, hey, what do you currently have selected? So those are our 2 properties we're going to go with here. So I'll hit N, first custom property. I'll call this just menu items, be a list of items in the menu. Spaces are allowed for the top option at least, but for the name, spaces are not allowed. And then I want to give it some kind of description that will be available to my consumers of this component. So I'll go ahead and say list of nav menu items, so that way people know how to handle this. It's going to be the input property. And I'm going to make this a table. So it's going to be a table of all the items in the menu and what screen holds that item in the menu also. With that now done, let me go ahead and hit apply, or create, excuse me. I have my first menu item now created. Let's create one more. It's going to be an output property. Oops, sorry, not called output. Someone call this one, how about I call this just output selected label, something like that. Okay, so of course spaces are allowed again, so I could make this a little more fancy by putting spaces in here if I want to make it friendly. But down here, let's call this just output selected label. And I'll just say the item that was selected in the menu. Okay, this is going to be an output property, and I'll make this a text value coming out. I'll hit apply, and now I have my 2 properties I'm going to use in this application. My next step I want to do is create a gallery, and this gallery is going to list all the items you saw in that input property. Now at first though, I'm just going to make sure this this gallery is pointed to a fake table of just one value. But then secondarily what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in a list of values from my application, my Power Apps application screen into this now. So let's go ahead and go back over here again. Let's now add our gallery. And let's get rid of my face here so you can see the full screen here also. Let's go into gallery and insert a vertical gallery. Now, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and make this, I'm intentionally going to make this a little bit off because I want to show you later how we can fix that. So I'm not going to make it fully stretch this. I want to show you how we can fix that at a later time. I'm going to make this point to only titles, be the title of the the screen I want to jump to. I will make it a fill color of maybe a dark blue. Let's go darker than that. Maybe dark blue like that. There we go. And let's wire this up to be more white. So this color will be more of a white color. There we go. And let's make this a little bit more wiggle room by, there we go. That should look a little cleaner now. Okay. Now I want to make sure that this is now wired up to my sample values. So when I select my component, let's go ahead and give it a better name here. First of all, for the gallery, I'll call this just gal menu. Okay. And for my component here, if I select menu items, you'll see it's wired to a table. And if I go to advanced, you'll see the table right here it's wired to. This is a default value. Menu items has a default table. So what I could do is I'm going to go and you'll see it also, by the way, you'll see it over here under menu items right here. So again, this menu items is a name I just made up. It's nothing beyond that. So let's give it a better table. All right, and we're going to give it one sample value. So this sample value is going to be used to kind of test the data to make sure things are working fine before we actually use this in our application. We're going to pass the real values inside the app, so don't worry. Now there's a few things that's going to help us get around. First of all, this is going to help us get around using making screen names dynamic, to where I can hop from screen A to screen B and do it as part of a variable, or do it part of a data item instead of hard coding that hop. So what we'll see here, if I do table like this, I'm going to go ahead and call it ID 0, just give a sample value there. It's not really required, but I'll keep it simple. And I did menu label. Okay, and let's give it a better name here. So I'll put the sample menu, sample item maybe. Okay, and then my screen name, this is the important part, is I need to go ahead and seed it as a object. So if I do the App.ActiveScreen, this is now going to seed that in particular column as holding a Power Apps object that I can now reference. If I actually just if I typed in the screen name like, screen 1 or whatever right here in double quotes, it's going to make it a string value, and that you can't change screen names based on a string value like that. So I need to make sure it actually is a Power Apps object. With that done now, we have one value in our table. So over here, we can then wire this up to that. So where you see my sample value right now, I'm going to point to the table. So I'm going to go point to my ComNav, and this is what's being passed in. So ComNav dot, and there's menu items right there. So this is what's going to be passed in, and I have one sample value as being passed in. So if I kind of look at this now, you'll see my sample one right here, and I think it was called sample value or sample menu item or something like that. So I can already see a problem here. I need to shrink this down just a wee bit here from 20 to maybe 16 or so I can all fit inside of that. And you get the idea. We can shrink all these down and make it a little bit prettier here if you wanted to. But it is just a matter of just kind of tweaking things until you get it right. All right, now you see one thing I do have wrong though still is, and I'll intentionally make it wrong again, I'm going to kind of skinny this down just a little bit so it looks like I got some white space above this. That's going to be on purpose because I'm going to use that, so I want to show you how we can fix it all later. Our last step here is we need to output the property as well. So this output property is going to show us how we can get a value out of the component, and we can wire that to a variable. We can use it as some kind of step inside of a text box, whatever you wish to do. So let's go back over here again, and inside my component, you'll see one of the properties is called output selected label. That's what we created earlier, right? And again, I can go back over here and type in gallery, it's called menu, dot selected, and then what do I want to output out? I want to get the name of the menu item selected, but I can also get the ID or the screen name or those kind of things. I'm just going to pass in the menu label, and this is going to be whatever, right now it's going to be sample item right now, but it'll be whatever somebody's selecting. The last thing I want to do to kind of make this look a little bit more like a navigation menu is I'm going to select my gallery, and I'm going to change this over to TemplateFill. Okay, and I want to make sure that whenever you select an item, it makes it really obvious that you have selected this certain item here. So let's go ahead and do that next. All right, so for TemplateFill allows us to go ahead and say that what does a certain cell that's selected look like? So I'm going to say if this item dot is selected, so whatever item I have selected is selected. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and do a color fade, which will take a percentage of whatever object I want and make it like 50% of that certain color. So it kind of makes that more of a gradient look to it. So I'm going to do gallery menu dot fill. There we go. So take whatever color is in this. You see the color right now, that dark blue right now. And I want to take that color and reduce it by, let's do 50%. All right, something like that. And close parenthesis one more time. And now you can see it looks like it's a little bit lighter blue now when I selected that. And you can kind of tinker with that 50%, like that's 50%, that's now 70%, and so on and so on and so on. So you can kind of, that's 50%, excuse me. There we go. That's too light, so you can find that right mark where it actually makes sense now. There's probably 45%. That might be the sweet spot for me in my case. All right, so again, all that does is going to make sure that whatever item is selected looks prettier. So now we've built our component, and we can export this component out. You can see that you can export that under components. But now let's go ahead and use this inside of our application. So let's see how to wire this up and make it actually work. So back in my application again, I'm going to go back to Screens, and on Screen 1, I'll go over to Insert, Components, and ComNav. See the export right here? We can actually send this to another application. So you have a standard one. If I go ComNav, you see it dropped it in with my sample item in there as well. And there's my bug I mentioned before. So we'll come back to that bug a little bit later where I've got the extra white space and show you how to fix that. So now I want to pass in a list of actual values in my case. So let's go over to our collection. I'm going to create a new collection, and this collection is going to hold a list of all the menu items I want to show in this array. Now this could be read from a database perhaps. You may want to have a list of table objects. You may want to have a list of customers, and you're flipping between customers, almost like a tab. It's up to you. So we have one customer where they want to select a given object, and it hops out to a screen for each customer. So this customer is filling out this form. This one's filling out this form. So it reads what form is being used, and then it hops out to that form or that screen for that one customer. So let's take a look at how we can do this now. So I'm going to go to my application right here, and we're going to go ahead and preload what I want to show in that navigation menu. So in my case, this could be a simple, it's going to be an app on start. You see when I select the application, I get on start right here. We're going to create a collection here. Now, if you're not familiar with collections, go look at my other videos, and you'll find a collection video also. So clear collect is going to go ahead and wipe and load my collection. There we go. And I'm going to call this call menu items, about that. All right, now inside these little squiggly brackets here, I'm going to go ahead and keep the same naming convention I had before, ID 0 or ID 1. My menu label, oops, I think it was capital L just to keep it consistent. Menu label is going to be equal to screen 1. And just do comma, on the screen name is going to be screen 1. There we go. So once you got that first one working, I'm going to go ahead and enter a few times. Actually, let me go ahead and format this, because that's one of the nice things about Power Apps is I can easily kind of make that a little bigger and format that. It gives us a little bit easier kind of copy and paste ability now. All right, so that's our first record. Our second record is that, and our third record is that. All right, so let's go ahead and wire these up. Screen 3. We, of course, can put whatever we want in here. So I'll call this one just, I'll call it HR, so you can kind of see it's, and I'll put HR3, so you can kind of see it's going to screen 3. I'll call this one, how about employee benefits, or employees. Oops. And this is going to be screen 2. And I'll put employees, and I'll put 2, just so you can kind of recognize that. And the first one will be screen 1, and pointing to screen 1. Okay, so really simple navigation here. Not really pretty in this case, but you get the idea. So once I've done that, I will go over to my collection, and notice the amount of properties, or not my collection, but my my list right here, my collection. Oh, one more thing before I start this, I need to right-click on this app and run on start. And by doing this, it's going to load the collection. Go over to View in Collections just to make sure you actually have the collection all loaded. As you can see, it all is. My screen names are right here, so you can see it actually is. It looks like it's actually working because it has that right here. And this is an object for screen name. All right. So with that now done, let's go to our screen 1. And for our component you're seeing right here, from the drop-down box, there's only a few objects you can actually set. And one of those objects is menu items. So I select this, it has this junk table, my default table here by default. I'm going to override that with my collection that we just created, call menu items. And there we go. So now we're seeing now that we have screen 1 now selected, and now we're going to screen 2, and so on. Oh, look at my mistake I made. So I made a few mistakes here. First of all, my mistake is if I click on these, nothing's actually happening. That's some functionality that's missing. My other mistake I made, when this was on purpose, was I had that white space above it. So let's go over to components and let's fix our mistakes now. First of all, let's go ahead and drag this up a little bit. And let's fix our first mistake. Now notice as soon as I do that, if I go back to screen, it's been fixed. Also, if I go back over here again, now if I had this used in 5 different screens, it would all be fixed, all in one foul swoop now. As a matter of fact, if I go over to the screens now, and I were to copy this, and just go here, paste it, there we go. Anytime I fix this whole selection process that you have, is where nothing's actually happening, you're going to see that will work across all the screens all in one time. So let's fix our next bug where I click on it and nothing actually happens. So let's go to Components, and when I select my first item right here and here, the on click or on selection, excuse me. There we go. I want to go ahead and navigate. And we can, of course, do, if you want to keep all the code there, you can do like chain events together. You don't have to do that. I'm not required by any means. I want to navigate to, in my case, this item, dot, and somewhere in here is screen, because it's a gallery, right? And I can say, do you want to fade? Do you want not to fade? I'll just say none. Okay. There we go. Oops, I mean poor style. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and jump to a screen. Because this is a gallery, it's going to read the screen name from that gallery, the screen here, and then jump to it. It did border style, none again. Let me fix that again. Sorry, guys. Here, I'll do screen transition fade, fine. All right, so now I've done that, it will now jump to the correct gallery. So back into screens again. If I select screen 1, screen 2, now see it's hopping to screen 2 now? Screen 3, and so on. Now you'll also notice it's actually going to screen 1 by default. I need to fix that, some gotchas around that where it's not actually going to the right screen. It's defaulting to whatever the default was there in this case. So I need to make sure I put output the screen name and default that in the gallery as well. So there's a lot of little tweaks like that we can do to fix, but you get the idea. So, but it is, as I go to screen 3 here, it is hopping around. So let's drop in one more piece here into screen 1 here, and let's insert a new label. Let's put it up top here, and stretch that bad boy across. And let's make this label a little bit more clean here. Maybe some gray color this time. There we go. And let's center this bad boy. And let's go ahead and make it where we can make it a little bigger, and you get the idea. All right, so this label here is going to say what screen I'm actually on right now. And there's a number of ways we can do that. We can actually show it here on the left as well, but let's just show you guys how we can do this. Let's go over to our text here. Okay, there it is. And rather than say text, I'm going to say, in this case, it's called ComNav1. And my output property was called output selected label. That's one we created earlier from our previous component screen. When I select that, we're seeing we're on employees 2. And as you can see, we're on screen, that's the last one that was selected, excuse me. So that's why we're seeing that. Okay, let me go and grab that out. So we see employees 2, that's where we're seeing it right now. All right, so now if we hop over to screen 2, paste that in again. Oh, nope, not that one. There we go. Okay, and this time we need to make sure it's actually matching the component name. Like right now it's called com1, let's make it 2. All right, it's the last one that's selected, that's why you're seeing the wrong names in there right now. And let's make this COM3. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. And again, you'll see that this last one was selected. So if I on screen 3 and I pick HR, you'll see it says HR3 now. If I hop over to employee 2, you'll see it actually picks employee 2. And then lastly, screen 1, you'll see it actually says screen 1. So it's reading that as an output parameter. Again, a little bit of gotchas I can do inside this deal. I still need to kind of clean up the selection process on the left here, but you get the idea. This is how components work. So components here is basically allowing me to create this navigation system one time and get around some of the gotchas inside this. I could have populated the navigation from a database table or something like that instead. Or, like I said before, I can hop to a certain kind of form for a certain kind of customer based on certain kind of conditions. So this allows you to dynamically drive the navigation of your Power App. It also allows you to create it once, fix bugs n number of times, so you don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. So my remaining bugs I have, I can fix inside the component and then not have to worry about it across all 3 screens. Lastly, you're able to export this component out after you're done and then import it into a number of other applications inside of Power Apps or share it with others. So, hope you enjoyed this video about how to use components inside your application. If you have any questions, please ask them down below, and please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell also. We also love building Power Apps for you as well, so if you have a Power App you want built, please let us know. You can email me at b9@pragmaticworks or go to pragmaticworks.com. Or if you want to go and check out some of our training, you can go to pragmaticworks.com. We have a number of classes all about Power Apps as well. Until then, until the next video, thank you for joining me today and hope you enjoyed this video on how to use components to influence things like navigation. Have a great day. Bye.